This is a Audiolab 8000M power amplifier. This is a mono power amplifier made by a British company. Audiolab been around for probably 30 years now. I think 25, at least 25 years. This had a no outputs at all. I've just replaced two of the drive transistors. This is quite a common problem, it looks like, with these amplifiers. These two driver transistors here get so hot that they actually unsolder themselves and burn the tracks away. I've repaired the tracks, as you can see here. These two tracks here have been repaired, but the tracks are so badly damaged they've gone to the next component. Though it doesn't look very tidy, it's actually really much more secure joints than before. So I've got the transistors in, and all the drivers appear to test okay. The output stages, main outputs are okay. As you can see, they're big, huge, great bipolar transistors in the bridge configuration, so you've got two amplifiers in parallel basically. You've got the emitter followers and the next drivers along here. I think this is like 120 watts RMS into 8 ohms. Supposed to be a very good quality amplifier. I'm going to power it up and see if I can get any sound out of it. And also obviously running it on the variac, because I'm a bit concerned about if there is a problem with the output stage. I want to keep an eye on the current and be ready to shut it off if something goes wrong. The rest of it seems okay, as I say. Just replace these two transistors with new transistors. The rest of the thing shouldn't really have any problem. You can see it has suffered some heat damage here where these resistors seem to get hot. But looking at others on the internet and other people who've worked on these, it seems to be a common problem. I've noticed also that it's got a rather underrated electrolytic bank. I mean, there's only got, what, that's 10,000 microfarads. But what it has got, it's got a big toroidal transformer, obviously capable of serious amounts of current. So really, in theory, you don't need the, if you've got the current from the transformer, you don't really need such big reservoirs on the capacitors, as the capacitors are only there to sort of give the power supply the oomph it needs when the transformers hasn't got enough current, and it's only on very small peaks anyway. So let's power this up and see what happens, keeping an eye on the current all the way. I'll wind it up to about 100 volts slowly and just see what happens. So the amplifier is on. Just wind it up to 100 volts. Just let it settle for a second and just go over and check anything getting unnecessarily hot. And that seems okay. Increase it to 150 volts. Turn my audio source right down. That's 200 volts. It has a protection relay circuitry built in, so if there's a problem that relay won't release. Relay has released. Current assumption looks normal. Let's wind the volume up and see what happens. For audio. Okay. As it's a mono amplifier, I'm going to wire up the second set of speakers in parallel, which is, we'll drop it down to about 4 ohms, but this amplifier will cope with that, no problem at all. So you see its speaker connections at the back. There's 4 speakers, almost looks like a stereo amplifier from behind, but what that's actually for is a bi-wiring. Allows you to drive the bass and the treble units from 2 terminals, in the theory to avoid interaction between particularly the bass unit that's like a big motor when it's being driven hard, interfering with the treble response. Okay, that's connected up. Let's increase it to full mains. Keeping an eye on current still. Just going around, just checking drivers aren't getting too hot. It's all fine. So the next thing will be to run a power measurement on it and check for distortion. Just make sure the amplifier is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Looks like we've got a pot here for setting quiescent current. Unfortunately, there's no information on the internet about these amplifiers. It sounds like Audiolab kept it under wraps. They didn't want people repairing them themselves, but obviously, you know, if you've got a common sort of, a knowledge of an amplifier, it's fairly straightforward. They're all very similar really. A class AB amplifier is much the same as the next one. So let's just have a quick look at our quiescent current, just to make sure that's not ridiculously high. Now I'd expect it to be higher than normal. These are 220 milliohm resistors, so I'd expect to see on the two outer ones, I'd say expect to see at least 40 millivolts. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Okay, well that's not showing anything on that one. So what we do actually need to do is check that the biasing, the output stage is actually working. These two drivers have been checked, but for some reason we don't seem to have any quiescent current passing into the output stage. Oh, we've got 2.2 millivolts there. Nothing there. Difficult to know without circuit diagram if I'm actually measuring the right points. Maybe these resistors aren't wide as they appear. Certainly the output stage is totally cool. Let's just measure these 2 points here then and just increase this current slightly. Hopefully this pot will adjust that. I don't think it's DC offset, this pot. So we've got 2.2 millivolts there. Let's grab a screwdriver. There you go. Pot's noisy actually, so it's probably under biasing. 14 millivolts, I would say that's probably about right, so that would be 28 millivolts across the two emitter followers. So that's fine. That pot's bloody noisy, so that's going to have to be cleaned. That's surprising, because of an amplifier this age you'd expect the pots still to be pretty good. What have we got across the other two now? No, nothing across those two, that's interesting. Okay, 11 there and 14 there, so they look like they're running the two negative sides of the transistors, and these are the two positive maybe, but certainly we've got a bit more current now. The amplifier's still running cold, but what we'll do is we'll run it through on the audio analyzer and just make sure that there's no high crossover distortion, and just do a general power check for it, make sure it's robust before we finish off the repair. Thanks for watching.